Hey, what's up, Facebook? Welcome to 5-ish Minute Friday. In this episode, I want to talk to you about the difference between spending and investing. I want to give you the definition of both to start. To spend means to use up, consume, or exhaust. It can also be used to say to pay out, disperse, or expend, to dispose of. It's in money, in resource, in time. We'll talk about that. That's what it means to spend. The definition of the word invest means to put to use by purchase or expenditure in something offering potential profitable returns. So I want to talk to you about the difference between spending and investing. And so I'm going to ask a question. Are you spending more than you're investing? I believe that in the next 5 minutes I can convince you that you cannot spend your whole life spending, and expect a potential profitable return. You have to start investing. And so I believe there are 3 major ways that we either spend or invest. Number 1 is in our time or our energy. Number 2 is in our resources, which could either be our money or our possessions. And number 3, in our influence. I believe all 3 of these areas we either spend or invest. And so I want to break these down one by one. Let's start with number 1, time. Let's talk about if you're spending or investing your time. You see, we all have the exact same 24 hours in every day. And let's assume that we work 8 hours and we sleep 8 hours. That leaves us with 8 hours. So we all are left with, let's just say, the same amount. Some work more or less, but let's just say we have 8 hours that we can either spend or invest. I'm going to use an analogy here. When I go home, right, I want to be with my family. Now, it's easy for me to confuse spending and investing. Let me contrast the two. For me to sit down in the living room watching a cartoon with my son and my wife, I'm spending time with them, but I can't expect any profitable return from that time. Now, moments at certain nights when I say, hey, do you guys want to go for a walk? Right? So now we're going to invest into our physical body, but also as we're walking around, I'm showing my son things. I'm teaching him, hey, this is a certain kind of flower, and this is grass, and there's a bunny running. And I'm able to teach him, and I'm watching his development literally as we're walking around. So it's the exact same amount of time. One is spent, the other is invested, because I'm still doing the exact same thing I would be doing in time constraints, but I'm getting a return by talking and walking and teaching and watching my son process. It's a contrast between spending time and investing time in my family. Number 2, money. This is a big one for a lot of us. So how do you invest without playing the stock market? Because most people think, I don't got money to invest. Well, I'm going to try to prove to some people that you may have more to invest than you thought you did. So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you eat out? At lunch, you go to work, do you eat out, either for breakfast or for lunch? Do you get a coffee on the way to work? Do you get a QT, big old soda on the way home? You get M&Ms. What do you spend money on? You know, if you're like an average American, you spend $8 a work day on food or coffee. Now, if you want to do some math with this, which I believe the numbers are incredible, if you take $8 a day on average times 5, that makes it a $40 a week expenditure. Now, if you were to do the math over a month, you'd add $160 a month. If you did that over the course of a year, you spend $2,080 a year on coffee and lunch at work, okay? But we all have to eat, right? Like, what do you say? I'm not supposed to eat, I'm supposed to fast? No, let me say something different. The average to make a lunch at home and take it with you is $3 a day, right? So you're gonna net $5 a day in differential between eating out and buying versus preparing and bringing. And so if you take that $3 a day versus the 8, you net $5. You do that over a week. You take the $5 over the course of a year, and you end up only spending $780 a year on the exact same lunch. Now you do that, the math from the $2,080 that you're spending to the $780 that you're now spending, it leaves you with a difference of $1,300. What could you do with $1,300 today? Maybe you could upgrade something on your car, your tires. Maybe that'd be an investment into your safety. Maybe it's something for your home. Maybe it's something, maybe you just need to take your family on a vacation. That would be an investment into their memory bank. I don't know what it is today. Maybe you do want to put some money in the stocks. $1,300 a year, I think that would do something for some people. That's the difference between spending money going out to eat, investing it in preparation, and what you're left over with is pretty significant. The last one is your influence. Now, whether you believe you have it or not, every one of you have influence. Either at your workplace, in your family, in your relationship circles, you have influence. Influence just means that you're making an impact or a mark on someone else for a period of time. And so I know that you're doing that, whether it's positive or negative, that's for you to know. But the difference in spending versus investing through your influence, when you spend your time with people, is it just joking around? Is it always being just a buddy, a friend? Is it just being the likable person? Is it kind of being a peacemaker? Or do you spend time finding people that you can pour yourself into, that you can invest like Paul did with Timothy, that you can really impart what you've learned or what the Lord is teaching you in a spiritual context, investing it into someone else for their growth or their development, because you will see a return on that. It may not be even in this lifetime, but you will see a return on how you influence people, especially how you do that through investment. The last thing I want to say is in Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20, it says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." When you're always in a rush, you'll always make decisions based off spending, not investing. You'll spend out of nature and habit, but you will not invest in anything on accident. You'll make a plan and you'll follow through. So today, I want to encourage you to start making a plan in your time or your energy, your resources, and your influence. How can you invest versus spend? I believe there will be a big difference in your family, in your workplace, and in your spiritual life when you start to become an investor, not just a spender. We'll see you next Friday at 5 here on 5-ish Minute Fridays.